Good evening and welcome to the June 17th regular meeting of the South Haven City Council. This meeting is called to order. This evening, the invocation is by Pastor Stephanie Norton from the First United Methodist Church.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome. Will you all pray with me? Loving, wonderful God, Lord, we thank you. We thank you for air conditioning. We thank you that we have the opportunity to meet tonight. We ask that you would bless all of us with calm, collected wisdom, that you would raise up these leaders, and that you would guide them with wisdom in their decision-making as they deliberate over topics that affect our community. God, we thank you for people who are willing to serve. We thank you for people who give of their time, their talent, their resources in order to discuss and deliberate on behalf of the rest of us. So we pray that you would guide all of us tonight. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, could we have a roll call, please?
Jeff Arnold.
Here.
Mary Hosley.
Here.
Wendy Onuki.
Here.
Joe Reeser.
Here.
George Sleeper.
Here.
Letitia Wilkins.
Here.
Annie Brown.
Here. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Moving on. Kate.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Tonight, we've been doing kind of community updates, and our first community update tonight is the swearing in of our newest officer, Patrolman Cody Unk. So Cody Unk will be here with his family, and Chief Thompson will be swearing him in.
First of all, we'll have our city clerk, Megan, be doing the swearing in, but this is our newest officer, Cody Unk.
Okay, Cody, I will have you raise your right hand, and you'll just repeat "I do" or "I will" after the following statement. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer of the City of South Haven, Michigan, according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and we're, like I said, we're so happy to have you here in South Haven, so.
You're welcome.
So yes, again, we are very fortunate. So Officer Unk is a military veteran. He graduated from high school. He was a military police in the Army National Guard. From there, he has worked with the Allegan County Sheriff's Department for 5 years. He graduated from the Police Academy, GRCC, in 2019. So he has a lot of experience under his belt, and we are very fortunate to have such an experienced, professional, talented person on board. So he is in his second month of field training. He has about another month and a half to go and then a shadow period, but he is excelling exceptionally. So again, we are very, very fortunate in just today's world with trying to recruit police officers, and we have a shining star. So we're very fortunate to have Officer Unk on board.
We're also pleased his family could come and watch this, and this is a pretty big deal. So thank you all for
Yes.
being here tonight.
And always a big round of applause. We have mom and dad and family members, so I always like to give them a big round of applause. Grandma and girlfriend,
Thank you for being here.
thank you.
Thank you.
And we're gonna go into the hallway and,
Pardon me?
we're gonna go into the hallway for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let the family slip out.
Yep.
Thank you.
When you guys are out there, can you shut the door? Yep. Thank you.
And now an update from Van Buren County Commissioner Gail Patterson Gladney.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. It's great to be here, and especially without my walker, so making progress. Okay, well, I wanted to let you know that the Van Buren County Veterans Services Department is continuing the social hours that they have once a month. And June 27th, 6 to 8, it's going to be at the 226 East Michigan Avenue, Paw Paw, Michigan. And they are continuing to do this social. One of the big bonuses of the social is it brings the veterans and their spouses together, and they can enjoy each other's company, ask questions, and reminisce about either being in the services or being thankful not to be in there anymore. But we're getting about 30 to 40 people to come. So if you know any veterans, please let them know about the services. Of course, you know about the South Haven Art Center Art Fair, Saturday and Sunday, July 6th and 7th. And I just wanted to mention that again. Also, Michigan Legal Help at the library, and there's many different libraries in the county. We have the Michigan Legal Help program, and the librarians have been trained on helping residents to get onto the website and get print out their legal papers. If they want to do that, they can get legal information. And as I said, the forms, find a lawyer, or self-help centers. And that is ongoing. I think you might see the sign outside of the library on that. Practice heat safety. And today it's been very warm. Some seniors and others don't have central air. So please keep in touch with your elderly or ill residents. They say practice heat safety wherever you are, job sites, indoors, and vehicles. Make sure you check your vehicles. Make sure no dogs, pets, or children are left in those hot vehicles. And then outside, limit strenuous outdoor activities, find shade, and stay hydrated. And then also there's dangerous waves and current forecasts, and I'm going to be giving that to your city clerk. We are hoping that we have a safe summer with tourists, and the kickoff of the Harbor Fest seemed great. So, Van Buren County Commissioners approved the off-road vehicle ordinance, and that is on our website if you'd like to find out more about it. Some townships have opted out of being in the ordinance. The Sheriff Department will monitor any breaking of the rules, or any police officer can stop someone who's using an ORV incorrectly. And then I went to a Narcan training last week. Van Buren Community Mental Health has a certain number of kits that they can give out to you, the Narcan kits. And if you want a small group training, please let me know, and I could try to arrange that for your group, a community group, or for your county city council people. We've hired a appellate attorney. Well, we haven't hired. We have approved for a new appellate attorney position with the prosecutor's office. ever since we have a public defender's office, we have getting more cases, more motions, more appeals, and so then that puts a lot of pressure on the prosecutor's office to make sure that they have enough staff to follow up and do the appeals. So we're hoping to hire appellate attorneys. So if you know any appellate attorneys, have them come to the county and apply. The last item is the Van Buren Youth Initiative, and there's been an update from Erin Kusharsky, who's our director, and her office is at the VBISD building. And I will just read part of what she wrote. What is the Van Buren Youth Initiative? It's an after-school program being created in Van Buren County and is designed to focus on the fine arts, aiming to enrich students' educational experiences across the county. We're going to have a west side and an east side hub, and hopefully we'll be able to find out a little more about that soon. But the program is intended to offer, as I said, about the fine arts, music, theater, dance, drawing, and allowing students to explore their creative talents and develop new skills. And it's inclusive, targeting benefits for all students regardless of their background or skill level. By participating in this program, students will have the opportunity to engage in artistic expression, enhance their appreciation for the arts, and foster a supportive community of young artists. And the initiative not only aims to cultivate students' artistic abilities, but also to contribute to their overall personal and academic growth. We are working with the Van Buren Community Mental Health staff, and some of them will be involved. We're going to have mentors also. The instruments and all the materials for the program are free to students and the lessons. So I'm going to give this to your city clerk, or your city manager. And I think that's all I have at this time. Do you have any questions?
With the heat, do you know, is the county planning any cooling centers for people?
Yes. Right now, as of today, they don't have any official cooling centers, but they're talking to churches, to libraries to see about where they could, in case they need them. If you have requests for cooling centers, please let me know or the county so that we can try to make sure that we have those cooling centers available. In the past, the library has been a site, and it's cooler. It's not as nice and cool as here, but and I think City Council approved having a cooling center here in the past. Have they?
If they did, it was during business hours. If we did it after
Yes.
hours, it'd.
Yes, during business hours, I think.
This is always open when we're here.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Starbucks could get them there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next, it's time for public comment for items on the agenda, excluding items scheduled for public hearings, and you have up to 5 minutes. Seeing no public comments, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through I?
I move to approve the consent agenda, items A through I.
Second.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Arnold,
Yes.
Hasley. Yes. Onuki. Yes. Reeser,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes, thank you. Next, the City Council will be asked to consider approval of a budget amendment for the fiscal year 2024-25 and authorize the Finance Director to amend the budget as stated within the report. Kate.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and I know that while I'm talking, Finance Director Michelle Aryu is coming on up. We had a good fiscal year. We were able to contribute more to our general fund. Part of this was in part to a number of our projects, the funding coming in later than actually when we started. So, Michelle, if you don't mind turning on your microphone, if you want to kind of walk through our budget amendment.
Sure. I did list there some of the changes we had to the general fund. Give me a second to be organized. We are increasing our general fund revenues from 10,351,000 to 11,201,000. And that is due to some grants that came in that were listed about the Kids Corner. And we also had the fireplace money and the ARPA funds. Also, we got 2 of the 3 projects completed, so we were able to take and put that money into the revenues for the current year. And then on the expenditure side, we had 10,153,000, and we did increase it to 10,452,000. We do have a change in the fund balance, a positive number of $748,900, and that will be going into the fund balance at the end of the fiscal year.
Any questions from council members? Go ahead.
Thank you. For the budget, for the excess expenditures, just are most of those associated with the projects that also came forward with the grants that came in this year? Just
There are some that have to do with that. The ARPA funds, by the time we had set some funds aside last spring, it was after we'd already started into the budget process and presented the budget, so we didn't have those in the actual budget. So both the expenditure side and the revenue side were added to the budget amendments. So, and the fireplace was the same way. It was not in the budget either.
was that for the fireplace, was the 112 the total budget for the fireplace, or was some of that in the previous fiscal year? Do you recall?
It does cross 2 fiscal years.
Any other questions? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I would move to approve a budget amendment for the fiscal year 2024-25 and authorize the financial director to amend the budget as stated within the report.
Isn't it budget year 2023-24?
Yes, it is. I just realized that was a typo. So it is correctly 23-24 because we're amending last year's fiscal budget.
I would amend my motion to say fiscal year 23-24 and authorize the financial director to amend the budget as stated within the report.
Second?
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The motion passes. Moving on, the city council will be asked to consider approval of a special event application, 2024-30 Touch-A-Truck, to be held on September 19th, 2024, from 3:30 p.m. until 6 p.m. at the Huron Street Pavilion and adjacent parking lot. Kate.
Well, thank you. This is a city-sponsored event, which is pretty rare. But this kind of came out of some of our community cohesiveness that was a priority, I think, a year or two ago. And we have opted to hold a Touch-A-Truck event that was very, very popular last year. So this is, I believe, a Wednesday. We'll be at the Huron Street Pavilion again for about 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours to have everyone come out and touch a truck and learn what the city does. We've geared it towards students and young adults, but there's also a lot to learn. If you're an adult, I know Megan had a booth there, how to get registered, how to apply for Board of Commission or anything like that. So it's a pretty fun event. Lots of city staff come out, and in fact, we kind of encourage our different staff departments to kind of compete who has the best exhibit. So hopefully everyone's around for September 19th for our Touch a Truck event.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun last year. And fun to see all the little kids being so excited about it.
I would say we probably won't have the whistles made again. That turned out to be a bit of a...
Yeah, that was an interesting
That's right.
I thought it was impressive to show off how smart our staff is. You mentioned Megan's involvement, but she had a voting machine there and let kids vote for their favorite trucks. But then the DPW, the line crew, had a fuse that you could change, and
That's right.
that was very impressive in displays.
And I think you also had some trucks that were not city-owned.
We
You had
did.
some pretty impressive trucks.
We
Not
did.
that ours are not. Don't-
Thank you, Member Hasley, because yes, we had a tow truck who had, I think, some of the loudest horns I've ever heard on a vehicle. They were able to come, as well as we also had some mining equipment from Getman's. So it was really interesting to learn how that is made and what they do with those. So off the cuff, I think those are two items that I remember that they were brought in. So we'll see what we can expand this year.
Great. Is there a motion to approve the event?
Make a motion to approve special event 2024-30, Touch a Truck 2024.
I'll second it.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Next, the city council will be asked to consider approval of 2 agreements to share captured taxable value raised by the proposed recreation millage with the Local Development Finance Authority and the Downtown Development Authority. Kate?
Thank you, Mayor. So this came out of the proposed rec millage that the city council has opted to put on to the August 6th ballot proposal that will go to the voters on August 6th. As part of that, there was some discussion on council as to how to maybe share the taxable value from the taxing jurisdictions that can share it to make sure that all the revenues that can be possibly raised go towards the rec millage. So the city staff, in working with the city attorney, prepared 2 agreements, one to go to the LDFA that has 3 different taxing jurisdictions, as well as the DDA, which has 1 taxing jurisdiction, to ask them to consider sharing the tax revenue so that that revenue comes back to the city to be used for the recreational purposes raised by the rec millage. Pretty easy sell, quite honestly, with the LDFAs, because their amount was, I think, combined about $2,500. As well as with the DDA, I think their amount raised is, I think, a little over $28,000. They all, in speaking with those boards, or at least hearing their comments, is that they want to see the rec millage pass. They thought it was very worthwhile and consider this to be an approval. So both of those boards have approved these agreements and have now brought this, so I'm bringing this to City Council, showing that we've done the legwork. I should mention that the Brownfield Authority is not able to forego tax capture on the individual plans. I think that not only is that state law, but there's, I think, some other considerations there. So I should say that the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority would not, would be around $12,000 of capture. So overall, we're keeping more money back if the rec millage does pass.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I would move to approve the 2 agreements to share capture tax value raised by the proposed recreation millage with the local Downtown Finance Authority and the Downtown Development Authority.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The motion passes. Next, the city council will be asked to consider the proposed changes to the social district and common area boundary.
Well, thank you, council members. I know that we have, bringing this back to you tonight, I know we've had some discussion on the borders of the social district. However, the DDA had some suggestions to make, some recommendations from their June 5 meeting, and they wanted to share those with council. Griff, maybe you can put this up on your screen. That might be easier for us to have a reference here. So we'll wait to get that turned on. Sorry about that. So this really came out of the, like I said, the DDA. Did we miss something? Thank you. And the DDA made 4 recommendations, kind of a recommendation for the city council to consider, and they kind of set it up almost like a choose your own adventure, if you remember those books, where you could decide 1, 2, 3, and 4, or maybe 1 and 4, or 1 and 2, or 0. So this is really a consideration for council to consider different areas of the social district. And Griffin is here because he's had some conversations, but to break it down very simply, we've got a number of suggestions here, itemized 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 would be the inclusion of Dykeman Park and Huron Street Pavilion as a common area. 2 would be the addition of the Huron Street parking lot and bathrooms. 3rd would be the removal of the Old Harbor Inn condo area, as they have not opted into that area. It's more of a private property, and they have not agreed to have that there. So this would be cleaning up that map. And then 4 would be the addition of the eastern sidewalk to connect areas from, say, Phoenix Street over to Center Street. Griffin, do you have anything to add? Because I know you've had some conversations.
Really just probably add a little more context to why we're bringing this back. As many of you know, we discussed the social district and some changes not too long ago, about a month and a half ago. And ultimately, there was some interest in that time in cleaning up the map, but the proposed maps at that time had some concerns come up from members of the community, and I think the takeaway is it was maybe too much of a change too fast, so ultimately City Council moved forward with some other changes to the social district, things like hours of operation, and extending it to year-round. I know that there were several members of the DDA who, following that decision, still felt very strongly that there were some changes to the map that could be really beneficial to the community. So they asked if we would bring a more refined map back to you all for consideration. Kate mentioned really these changes are broken up into 4 categories. Really just looking for some guidance this evening that if you all are happy with the changes you all made a couple weeks ago, you could say, we're happy, we don't want to make any changes right now, we'll consider this another time. Alternatively, I think there's some interest in the DDA for you all to consider making some or all of these changes so that we can work to get them implemented as soon as possible. The key, I think, parts of these are, for number 1, it includes Dykeman Park, the pavilion, the new bathrooms. That's going to include additional bathrooms. It's going to include public space. So give folks an opportunity beyond the sidewalks to participate in the social district. I think there have even been some kind of preliminary visioning of ways to use the park and the pavilion when it's not being used for the farmers market or the ice skating rink for types of activities or different types of engagement. Number 2 is very similar. It includes another public restroom that the city operates into the social district. Number 3, as Kate mentioned, originally we were trying to encompass as many possible participating businesses as possible. And ultimately what we learned as we've gone through this process is that for a number of reasons, the Old Harbor Village, area is not going to be able to participate at this time. So by removing them from the map, we're starting to avoid some potential confusion that could arise there. If at some point in the future some of those things get resolved and they do want to participate, the map could always be amended again. And then number 4, I think, was purely to try to square off the map. That was one of the discussion points mentioned earlier, that some of the irregularities of the existing map caused some confusion for participating businesses as well as participants. So number 4 is really nothing more than just trying to square off the map and make it a little bit more of a regular shape. So I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have. I'll really just point, I guess, your direction towards the recommendation, which is just for you all to consider if all or any of these changes are something you'd be interested in. Again, we definitely recognize that, there were some concerns brought up a few weeks ago when we talked about amending the map. This is definitely a more refined version, but if there's still that feeling, we can drop this for now and revisit it at another time, but nevertheless, the DDA did vote to have this brought to you all again. Should you all want to move forward with some of the changes like before, I would look for that action this evening, and then what staff would do would work to kind of formalize those changes in terms of the maintenance and management plan and actual formal resolution and so on and so forth, and that would get brought back for a formal vote at a subsequent meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
And Joe, you're on the DDA. Do you have any comments?
I overall agree with the changes they made, especially number 3, Old Harbor Village. If they didn't want to be in, it makes sense that we take them out. And number 4 was squaring it off, just like Griffin said. So number 2, adding bathrooms, which if people are going to drink, they need bathrooms. The only bit of a controversy has been number 1 from residents wanting maybe one park not to be part of the social district. So the DDA felt it'd be better because of the bathrooms. And you can't drink, as Kate told me, and then go back in and use a bathroom where you bought the drink. Once you leave that restaurant, you can't go back. So additional bathrooms would probably be helpful. And the other idea is if there's other events in the pavilion or the parking lot during the year, we could have it there and they would be allowed to drink there, which would be good for our community and tourists. So overall, DDA and I support the changes.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussion? Wendy?
I guess my biggest concern would be about enforcement if we were going to expand it with parking lots and the park. So I don't know, like, I don't want to put Chief Thompson on the spot, but I would just wonder from her perspective, if, I think part of the reason why we wanted to stop and see how it goes was,
Baby steps.
yes, so.
And I remember that comment from last time, so I very much understand that this is a recommendation that's coming from the DDA, and that is something that I clearly remember from our discussion last time, is that we are already making a change with having this throughout the summer and in the later hours, and that this is a consideration of maybe we just kind of see how it works with just the area right now. So I understand that that's where some of council made the original decision. I would also like to clarify that when I was speaking to Joe, and he brought up a very good question, which is, don't the participating businesses already have to allow alcohol or participants of the social district to utilize their bathroom? And absolutely they do. But if you were to walk out with a beverage and say, oh, I forgot to use the bathroom, you cannot walk back in with that beverage. Even if you just bought it there, you cannot reintroduce that alcoholic beverage you just bought back into there. So if I walked out with my beer from 527 and I forgot to use the bathroom, I have to have either someone hold it or, well, drink it really fast to go back in and use the bathroom either there or anywhere else. So that's a consideration that has been brought up before. So we do have now the year-round bathrooms at Huron Street. That's just something that people have brought that up.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mary?
Yeah, for number 3, it seems like that would be something that would be beneficial to remove because the Old Harbor Village does not want to participate, if I understood things correctly. So that would be beneficial to do sooner than later. My other concerns is I hate to have the social district in parking lots. And that's what I see with number 4, although it's connecting 2 dots, it's mainly in parking lots. And if I recall, I thought there may have, no, I think that was down in a different area. When social district was first started, I know that there were some property owners that were concerned about people going into private parking areas. I note that a lot of that parking for number 4 is public parking, but it's not very beneficial, or it's not very walkable there. And so I'd be very concerned with people carrying alcohol walking in a mainly parking area.
If I may, real quick, answer that. I specifically asked the very question you were talking about with the DDA, and they very much clarified that for the Quaker Street area, or number 4, it was just the sidewalk. It was not the public parking areas. It was simply the sidewalk. They were hoping to kind of make that bridge from the Phoenix Street area, where it kind of jogs a little bit to the north, to Center Street. If that helps at all, I clarified with the DDA.
I think that would make the map confusing because my understanding is it was there to try and straighten out the map, so the zigzag around the buildings, my understanding is that would be pushed out to William Street, so then that would incorporate that whole parking area. I think it would be more confusing having a bridge, so to say. Of course, that argument is counterproductive with adding number 2 that has the bathrooms. I do see the benefit to adding that. It is less parking. I don't know. Like I said, those 2 arguments are counterproductive for adding 2, but or counterintuitive. But I see the benefit of adding the bathrooms for number 2. For number 1, I am concerned about not having a family gathering space that doesn't have alcohol. We already do have a few special events that are organized at Dykeman Park, like the Jazz Festival. They have a defined area where alcohol consumption can occur. So it's not that the people don't have access to alcohol if they want to participate, it's just that they are confined, and all other participants not partaking in the alcohol consumption have larger access. That's my concern. It's unfortunate that they do have the bathrooms on that side of Dykeman Park, but I would like to take a slower approach to that. I would reconsider it maybe when we find out more about Kitchen Tribes and where that is, and if we're going to have to add that to, if they get the liquor license and apply to be in the social district, we would need to reevaluate the map at that time, and that might be the better time to evaluate Dykeman Park. If there are other activities that are being considered, it would be nice to have those part of the decision-making process with the social district. And I do appreciate the fact that if you drink, you're going to need to use the restroom. As Kate said, someone can hold your drink. So it's not that you're prohibited from going to the restroom. And actually, I would prefer that the alcoholic drinks are not being taken into the restroom. I would like to try and keep them clean. And before we do extend this any further, I would like to hear from Chief Thompson or anyone about how well it's going, if there have been any complaints with the extended time into the summer and the higher tourist time. Thank you.
Kate, have you heard of any concerns or complaints or problems?
I have not. We're really only about a month past the date, so I think it was supposed to end, May 15th? And so it was extended May 15th or May 1st. So we're about a month and a half. So I haven't heard anything. But again, I think we have already talked to Member Onuki, and I know that she's asked to be kept apprised if we're having issues, and so far I haven't heard of any.
Thank you. Any other opinions? George?
I'm okay with all four of the proposed changes. And maybe the way to do this would maybe have like 4 different motions, one for each one of the changes, and then we can vote on each one individually, so, we
That
can
sounds
kinda
good.
get through that.
Any other comments before there's a motion that's made?
I would just say that I've heard from my constituents, they are supportive of all 4.
You what?
I've heard from my constituents that they're supportive of all 4 changes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, George, would you like to do like enumerated motions?
Well, I'll do one at a time. So
Right.
I would make a motion to add recommendation number 1 to the social district map.
Second.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Of course. Hasley,
No.
Onuki,
No.
Reeser,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Wilkins,
No.
Arnold,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes,
That is 4 to 3, so motion carries.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to add recommendation number 2 to the social district map.
Second.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Of course. Onuki,
No.
Reeser,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Wilkins,
No.
Arnold,
Yes.
Hasley,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to add recommendation 3 to the social district map, which removes the Old Harbor Village.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Reeser,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Hasley,
Yes.
Onuki,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes,
Motion carries.
And I'll make a motion to approve recommendation number 4 to the social district map.
Second.
roll call, please.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Hasley,
No.
Onuki,
No.
Reeser,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, Moving on. The City Council will receive an update on drinking water from Water Filtration Superintendent Richie Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I have Water Filtration Superintendent Richie Garcia and Dana Bird, our Public Works Director, coming on up. Our water customers should have received some correspondence. I know some of that Eagle speak could be very confusing, so I thought to bring them in and have them discuss what the letters mean, what's going on with our water system, and kind of answer any questions council may have about those that they may have heard from their constituents. So Richie and Dana, if you want to make sure, thank you for having your microphone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, I put 2 public notices into the utility bills, and Eagle provides us with the templates for those notices so that they comply with the EPA's 10 points that they need to hit. The verbiage can be very confusing, so I was really just calling to explain them a little bit. The first one was with total organic carbons, TOCs. There was an incident in December of 2022 where we missed one of our tests. We did the test in November, and we did it in January, and we were back in compliance for that. When we did the public notice at that point, we put it in our consumer confidence report, which was approved at that time. Recently, it was explained to me that it should have been in the utility bills. So we circled back and we put it through there. So it's just appeasing a public notice method that was approved by the state for that. Since January of 2023, none of them have been missed. The test is for removal of total organic carbon. It's a percentage. It's always in the water. It's just how our method removes it. TLCs cannot always be removed because they do dissolve in water. So we also do a test that was implemented in January for the dissolved organics. So all of that's in compliance now. The other letter is for the rapid mixers that we have. They're the original rapid mixers for the process of our sedimentation for the water plant. And basically, it mixes our coagulant in at a very rapid pace, rapid mixers. And then the water is moved into our flock basins where it's at a slower mixing until it moves into our sed basins where it just settles out. And what happens is the coagulant mixes with the organics in the water. They have opposite ionic bonds, and they are attracted to each other. It makes them heavy. They settle out of the water, and then we put the water into filters. Both of our rapid mixers went out at the same time. However, we've been monitoring the water completely through, and Eagle is somewhat confident that the removal process is pretty consistent still. We're still getting the same turbidity results. The flock mixing, the production of flock is there, which the flock is the organics combining, getting heavy, and settling out of the water. So we're keeping a close eye on that. The process for those rapid mixers to be repaired and replaced is active right now, and the end result should be by July, they should be back in process. So we'll be back to the way that the plant's designed to operate.
Yeah, and I would just add, in the time I've been here, Richie and his staff do a really good job of ensuring when the water leaves the plant that it is clean, safe, and drinkable. There's a partnership that we have with the state regulators, and a lot of times for us, it's a lot of sampling and reporting, and certainly I appreciate, Richie's staff and their technical expertise in that. But the state does have required language that we do have to send out, and so welcome the opportunity for the public to call if they have concerns. We're happy to try and explain it and come here and kind of talk about what's going on with the filtration plant, the processes involved.
Yep. Yeah, I have a small amount of that letter that I have control over. So at the bottom, I try to explain as best as I can, and I have my contact information. They went out in the utility bills. I'm not sure how many utility bills we have total, but so far I've gotten 10 calls. So, and after speaking to people, it makes more sense. So that was my update. We also have our consumer confidence report, the annual report coming out by the end of this month. So, and these will also be mentioned in there as well. So, do you guys have any questions?
Mary?
Are the notices posted to the website?
They are not posted to the website, but Eagle did not approve that method. I did ask about it. They did not approve that. They wanted it through utility bills, and then they wanted it printed out and sent to nursing homes and apartment complexes. So I printed them out and hand delivered them to them as well. I did ask about that, though.
Just with how electronic we are nowadays.
I agree. I agree.
Wendy?
So this is a very basic question, but when I read it the first time in the utility bill, I was concerned at first that the water quality wasn't on par with what it should have been. But that is not the case. It's just that the test was missed, so there was no
Correct.
determination. Okay.
Yeah. So what we actually remove as far as TOCs, a lot of times the raw water coming in will have 2.0 parts per million, and we remove it down to 1.4 to 1.7. And that is all depending on what's dissolved and what's not dissolved in the water. So the temperature of the water can affect that. The rate that we're pulling the water through the plant can affect that. But based on our sedimentary process that we have, it's designed to remove some. So we've been doing our TOC testing, which before the high water that we have a few years back, we were only doing it 4 times a year. It was only required 4 times a year. So every 3 months we were doing it. And once we had the high water, we noticed the increase in those numbers all the way up the West Coast. So they asked a few of us to do monthly, and we did that. And then they made that the standard.
Gotcha.
So now we do it every month instead of every 3 months. Okay. And we're not required to do, it's called SUVA, S-U-V-A. It's a very technical term, but it's basically the dissolved organics. So they bind with the oxygen in the water, and they break down, and they become soluble. So you can't remove it when it's soluble. And if we can verify that some of it's dissolving, then it fills the gap in what's being removed and what's not. So we actually do that. We're not required to do it. It's actually a great practice, though, because if you don't have the proper removal, but you have that number, it shows where it's at. So.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to stay up here.
I was going to say, Dana, don't go too far.
Next, the City Council will receive an update from the Public Works Director, Dana Bird.
Yeah, so thanks for having me here this evening. I'm happy to be up here and talk for as long as you want. This is one of my few updates that hasn't been at that tail end of a long meeting, so happy to field questions and give you an update. Yeah, it's been an exciting month at Public Works. We did finish our Willow Street project. That's paved now. It looks great out there. Really, again, appreciate the patience of the residents out there. They've been fantastic to work with, and certainly it's inconvenient to have your road torn up, but they've really been really good to work with, and the contractor did a nice job out there. Right now, we have a lot of things with the water system keeping us on our toes. We have our major infrastructure project out for bid right now. Last week, we had a pre-bid meeting in council chambers here, where contractors came from throughout West Michigan to kind of get together, hear about the project. They've had a chance to review the documents that are out for bid, and ask the consultants a lot of questions. And so Last week and this week, we've been responding to a lot of those contractor questions to make sure we get everyone on the same page, apples to apples bidding. And so we're looking forward to receiving bids for that project on Monday. And so, again, that is a major water system project that we were able to secure a lot of grant and loan funding for. I do also want to thank the council for supporting us in our Plan B option to bond through the city. Things are going very well with rural development, so it looks like we're not going to need to go that route, and that the rural development funding is coming into place nicely. With that, there's a lot of paperwork involved, so we're working through this 37-item letter that they need to close on that loan. But I do appreciate, your support and your support in the amendment to the Shasta agreement as well. That worked its way through South Haven Township, and they approved that. And I think tonight they have it at the Casco Township meeting, which is happening right now. And so we're going to circle back around with our Shasta meeting to close the loop on that agreement amendment. Our normally scheduled Shasta meeting was going to be for next Tuesday. We had to move that up to tomorrow at 4 o'clock because of some board member availability. So I do want to touch on a couple things that'll be on the agenda for that meeting. We have our cost of service study update. I think this is something traditionally the Water Authority has done earlier in the year, but given kind of my transition in and the gap between when Bill was there and I was there, we're kind of getting it in now. But we are on track for our previously approved rate track. That was one of the things that I was pretty concerned about with all the projects that are going on, kind of figuring out, are we on our previous track, or are we going to need to look at more significant rate increases? So I can't speak for the board because it is an agenda item for tomorrow, but that is, as of a month ago when we met with our folks doing the rate study, they're going to come give a presentation, and that was their initial conclusion, was it looks like we are on our previously approved rate track. And for that, it would be a 4.5% increase to water and a 6.9% increase to sewer rates overall. And I think that was presented in the plan a year ago, and the Shasta board approved it as like a 3-year incremental rate increase. And so things look to be in line with that previously. So other things going on, I mentioned the projects we have out for bid. We also have the locker room project at Public Works is out for bid right now. So that was a council-supported project using some ARPA funding. So we're looking forward to opening bids on that next Tuesday. And yeah, I could keep going and going, but it's been an exciting time. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces, and in addition to just the stuff that happens every day, I think staff's doing a really good job keeping out in town, keeping the beaches clean, trying to keep up with everything, especially with the heat. So happy to answer any questions folks have.
Any questions?
I've got one.
George?
Dana, questions on the advanced metering infrastructure. I know you guys are working on meter replacements. Any idea when that might be fully completed?
Yeah, I think it's going to take the rest of this calendar year. We have one staff member who's dedicated to that effort, and then we'll have some things, I think, to talk about at the BPU coming up. Maybe not at our upcoming meeting was canceled because of lack of business, but at the next meeting, we'll have more of those installed. And we'll be talking about some policy issues as to how we want to handle hookups to homes that may need some additional upgrading to handle the AMI meter. But we're doing a lot of the change outs that are fairly easy to do for our staff, and they're plugging away. I think we had one employee who's changed over 1,000 of them out on his own, doing that during his daily rotation. So I think by the end of the calendar year, we hope to have most of those installed. So.
And just couple more things. So Willow Street, I drove by there. It looks really good. So good job to your folks on that. And I really appreciate getting all the infrastructure in there done, so you're not going back later on and having to, tear it up.
Yeah, we tried to do as much curb and sidewalk as made sense at the time when we did that. Yep.
And the gardens around the city, look great. So thank your staff for that, too.
I will.
Joe?
I just want to compliment you. I've never seen the beaches look better. I look at them almost every other day, and they look great. And a special thanks to you or whomever was responsible. But all the residents love the fact that you cleared up the blue steps going down to the beach. For years, that was an issue. Myself and a couple of residents used to go down and blow the steps off. Now you've got all the sand removed. It looks great. People can walk up and down. And then the last thing is the walkway sign just past, that'd be south of the blue steps. You put another one of those warning signs for people to slow down. It really works. I was out washing my car a couple of days ago, and I had 3 residents at different times come up to me and thank me, even though I didn't do it, but they were very happy that the city put those slow down signs up there. It really helps.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah.
I was pleased to see that you picked a woman-owned business for sidewalk repairs, since that's part of our DEI plan too, so thank you for that. Mary?
Kind of. Also, I wanted to congratulate you on having an engineer start, Bella Habursky.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah, so our civil engineering position was filled by a Michigan Tech graduate, Bella Habursky. She's in her 2nd week now, I think. And she's done a great job hitting the ground running, and we certainly have a lot for her to do. So keeping her on her toes.
And I was pleased to see that. And thank you very much for addressing the question from my Ward 3 resident. And thank you for coming, both of you coming today to discuss the notice. That's very helpful for our residents. I had gotten a question about that. And thank you for addressing the SHASA moving the agenda and the agenda items. That's very helpful for us to know that ahead of time. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for everything. And it's now time for public comments. The citizens in the audience will be heard on items not on the agenda, and you have up to 5 minutes. Seeing no comments, we'll move on to city managers. Oh,
Joe Wilkins, 811 Indiana Street. Couple of comments. I want to also piggyback on how great the city looks. As a bishop, I've been going in and out of a lot of cities, and it always make me appreciate living in South Haven. So Public Works and the staff is doing a great job, especially in the summer months. South Haven looks so great. I also want to just comment quickly on the fact that it's good that South Haven is a animal-friendly city. It's really great. I understand dog lovers and how precious they are to their owners, so I don't have any problem with that. But I just want to stand to remind owners of dogs that, make sure that they secure their dog. And the reason I say that is because I had to stop a pretty big-sized German Shepherd over by the park running after kids, and I had to pull in between. So you want to make sure that you secure your dog for the dog safety, number one, and also for the safety of others. But again, I'm not here to bash dog owners or animal lovers. It's great that South Haven is friendly towards animals, but it should be a level of responsibility also for having these type of dogs. It's a pretty big German Shepherd running after kids. So I just want to remind those that do have these type, do have an animal for the animal safety as well, that make sure they keep it secure. Thank you.
thank you. Any more comments? Moving on to city manager's comments.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I know last week where I sent out an email to many boards and commissions as well as the city council notifying you that Assistant City Manager Griffin Graham is going to be leaving the city here on July 12th. He is leaving to become the Granville City Manager. Congratulations and kudos to him. However, his loss will be deeply felt with city staff as well as by this council. I think it's really impressive that Griffin being here for 3 years has just been an instrumental role, an instrumental part of this team in getting so many things done. And I know that he's worked on many key initiatives such as the Hales redevelopment project, the Dykeman Fireplace project, starting the Young Professionals Group with Megan, and working on the expansion of many local businesses such as the $30 million W.R. Grace expansion, Spencer's manufacturing expansion, which I think was nearly 40,000 square feet, Revere. I mean, he's been very good at pushing a lot of projects along, so we're going to miss that. And I do want to just kind of give a shout out to Griffin. I know that his last day will be July 12th and his last city meeting will be July 1. So we'll have one more chance to talk with Griffin before he's off to Granville as their city manager. We also will anticipate bringing an economic development update in kind of the second meeting in July. That's usually the time we bring that, so we'll have those items prepared for you. It is that time of year. We're in the swing of things, lots of residents in town, lots of visitors in town. I was very happy to see Parks and Streets put out all the stops and got everything ready for, Harbor Fest, but really it's all the kind of use that we're seeing throughout the week. So we've got lots of staff out there working to make sure everything's looking good. If you're ever downtown, and I appreciate the comment on the flowers because staff really works hard on that, as well as making sure our city parks are well taken care of. So kudos to Parks and street staff, as well as all the staff that make things work. I know we had some high winds, not as high as maybe, say, Goebels, but our electric crews are ready on that. With the high heat this week, we know that there's going to be more demand on our electricity grid, so we know that staff will be aware of that. I did also want to mention that, as Dana said, there's a lot of things cooking at DPW. One thing you may have heard of, maybe a number of gas leaks or things like that being going on. Specifically, there was a water main that was hit last week. We have a couple of companies in town that have been given permission to have right-of-way permits to do work installing utilities, specifically broadband fiber optic that's going in. And they have to have their Metro permit, which we have given them, and they have to have MISTICs. So all of that's being done. Somehow some things are either not labeled correctly or was just something happened. So I can tell you the reason why you're seeing so many gas leaks or the fire department being called out, as well as the water main last week. Staff will be reaching out to these companies, making sure we can get on the same page, kind of minimize those disruptions to city residents. So there's that. I also wanted to mention that tomorrow, June 8th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the city will be hosting the public meeting about the Overton site and Brownfield Redevelopment 101 generally with the MEDC and Eagle at Listiak Auditorium. So that's in the South Haven High School, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Listiak Auditorium at the South Haven High School. And I did want to welcome Officer Cody Onk to the city. I'm very happy to see that. It's always a struggle to maintain your hiring levels in this climate of making sure you get enough people to fill those ranks. We're happy and lucky to get that. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Time for city council comments. Letitia.
First, I want to say I'm so sad to hear of Griffin leaving, but I know he's going to do a great job, and I personally wish you the best, and I look forward to hearing about great things you're doing in Granville. I also wanted to say I really appreciate how the city keeps our streets clean, and I know I called Kate today about some glass that someone just threw, but I really appreciate just the little things, how when things like that happen, that the city goes quickly and cleans it up. And also to the park, I recently saw in the park where there was a lot of trash, and by the next day, when I went by, it was clean. So I don't really know who's exactly responsible for doing all that cleaning, but I really appreciate that, and I wanted to say thank you to whoever it is. So I know it's someone in the city. And then I do have one question and I don't normally ask questions, but I wanted to know, have we ever considered putting speed bumps, and especially down Indiana, because during the summer we have a lot of speeding going on, and I just wondered if we ever considered putting, speed bumps.
I know that we've had a number of streets ask for that, especially once there's been a repaving, we see a higher amount of speeders on a road. To consider speed bumps, you'd have to reconstruct the entire road as well as provide for the drainage. If there's not a storm system there, but you have to redirect and how things flow, so that's a pretty massive project.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
George?
No comments.
Joe?
No comments.
Mary?
I do want to wish Griffin the very best. It's wonderful to see him making strides upward and becoming city manager of Granville. Reminder, the community survey as part of our master plan update is still ongoing. You can access it via the city's website in the newsroom. And I noticed tomorrow Shara's meeting, a couple things that might pique people's interest is discussion of River Woods property and the rec millage and other items. Just want to give a shout out to the South Haven History Club members who competed at the national contest, and Hayden Washajusik, I apologize if Wasajizik. He was one of 99 students selected to perform at the National Museum of American History in DC during the performance. And his aim performance was the natives fighting back. And I had the pleasure of seeing him in his practice at the Scots Club. We're very lucky to have such talented students. We have our June 18th meeting tomorrow, but for some fun time, maybe beat the heat on June 23rd at the Hartman School from 2 to 4 is the Historical Association's South Haven annual old-fashioned ice cream social. So that should be some fun. And I would just like to reiterate about the heat safety and especially animals left in vehicles. Leaving the windows open just a crack does not resolve the issue. If you can't take them with you, don't take them at all. I appreciate Bishop Wilkins' comment about restraining animals. I meet a lot of very responsible pet owners, and I really hope that people do take that into consideration. It can just be a bit stressful for people. And as pointed out, can lead to some safety issues also. And also, I believe we have our priority workshop on July 8th from noon to 2 at City Hall, and I'm looking forward to that. And I think we had been contacted about meeting with a group on Friday. Has anything transpired? I know it hasn't been much time.
We have them coming in here and getting a tour. So that's the U of M. I think it's the Ford Policy of Local Government School. I'm probably hashing up the name, but they'll be coming in. I think this is one of your former students. Is that correct?
Yep.
And so they'll be coming in here, and I think May, you're going to be on vacation, but
Right.
myself and Jeff will be here and getting them a tour and talking with them.
Okay. If others wanted to participate,
Should be fine.
okay.
Wendy?
Nothing. No comment.
Jeff?
I just welcome and congratulations to Officer Unk. Certainly glad to have him. Sounds like a very qualified person. And just because he's here and he'll probably hate it, I want to give a shout out to Mickey Paul and congratulate him on his retirement from the South Haven Public Schools. Yeah, I saw they had a pretty fun looking send off for you in the building. Yeah, lots of balloons and kids. And so thank you for all your time with the kids in the South Haven Public Schools. Those are my comments.
I want to thank Kate again for working with the downtown business owner who had the parking issue. And that was a win-win for everyone. And I think that's a good example of how our city really wants to help out and be a problem solver for our business owners. I was excited to have Lakeshore Habitat for Humanity come to South Haven about a week ago, and I gave Dave Rosman a tour of vacant lots in South Haven. And 2 owners of vacant lots are interested in meeting with him, so we're making some progress there, which is very exciting about having sources of land for affordable housing. And that is all. If there's no other business, we're adjourned.